Hello, everybody. Hopefully, you can see me out there. I'm just learning how to use this software. Hello, Moroccan in America, and hello, Ace FLA1. Thank you for coming to the live stream. I'm just talking about my latest video that was about Quetzalcoatl, and today I wanted to talk about some of the sources that I had for that video and talk a little bit about the legend of Quetzalcoatl. So we'll see how this goes. Quetzalcoatl is an interesting um, deity when it comes to pre-Hispanic culture. Thank you for the good luck. I appreciate it. I'm going to need it, Moroccan America. There's lots to talk about. I'm not sure I know everything, but I want to give a greater appreciation of pre-Hispanic um, art in particular because I think that we get a very nuanced look into what is pre-Hispanic archaeology. Um, oh yes, I have actually seen your channel, Ace FLA1. Very good. I saw the last one. I believe the last video that you did, AFLCA1, was about the Biltmore Mansion. And I enjoyed that one a lot. That was a great video. Thank you so much for the comment. And so, yeah, I just wanted to talk about pre-Hispanic archaeology. I'm going to put up this timeline here. You can see. So when we talk about pre-Hispanic literature, especially in Mexico, I think the narrative gets a little bit skewed in that you first hear about the Mayans. I don't know if you've ever been to down into the Yucatan. There's a site called Chichen Itza, and they talk about the Mayans, and then they talk about the Aztecs, and then the Spanish, and then Mexican independence, revolution, and then we're all one big America with the free trade agreement in 1992. But the thing about that period between the Mayans and the Aztecs is there was actually a lot more tribes out there than just the Aztecs. The Aztecs were the ones who were in the majority um, when the Spaniards came, but they were not the only tribe in the Americas. There was actually hundreds of tribes in the Americas. The Aztecs were the dominant ones, but we don't talk a lot about the other tribes that were around and what preceded the Aztecs. In my last video, I was talking about the Toltecs, and if you look in the background here, I have an image. These are called the Atlanteans, and the Atlanteans were giant pillars. Here you can see them. They were giant pillars made by the Toltec nations. The Toltec tribe actually came several hundred years before the Aztecs. And even before they came along, we had what was known as the Teotihuacan tribe. And so there's an interesting development in how that arose. The Toltecs are important to understanding pre-Hispanic culture because they were before the Aztecs. And the Aztecs actually kind of used them as an origin story because they wanted to be associated with the Toltecs. And so, but what I find interesting is they had a king, and their king was called Topiltzin Quetzalcoatl, and I'll put up a picture here. So, let me see if I can get this picture. This guy, his name was Topiltzin Quetzalcoatl, which means the warrior king that was an eagle. And Quetzalcoatl is an interesting legend when it comes to pre-Hispanic culture because you see him everywhere. You cannot go to a pyramid, a temple, any archaeological site within Mexico North America, you'll see him. Um, Even South America in Peru, you always see the legend of Quetzalcoatl, and he takes a lot of different shapes and sizes. He's known as the feathered serpent. And so his story is somewhere around the first century. The legend of Quetzalcoatl starts. And according to the legend, he was a warrior king that came around the first century to what is now Teotihuacan. And he gained popularity by uniting all the nations in peace. He was known as the light-haired god because, unlike most of his peers, you can see here that he was depicted in the archaeology as having fair skin and a beard. So that was very interesting. So he Christ was born, and he left around the year 60 after Christ. And according to the legend, he sailed out from what is now the Yucatan, and he sailed out on a boat that he made that had serpents because that's what the legend said, was he was going to travel on a canoe made of serpents. So here's that canoe, and then that he was going to come back one day. Now, according to the Spaniards, what they said is that when he when he left, he was going to come, and then the Spaniards used that legend to the Aztecs. The Aztecs thought that maybe that Hernan Cortez might have been part of those. So, of course, Hernan Cortez was not Quetzalcoatl. He was actually a conqueror and ended up conquering Mexico for Spain. And so that's how we get Mexico in the history. So talking about Mexican history, I found it interesting to search in the other tribes that happened because of the fall of Teotihuacan. I'm looking to see if I have a little video clip here that I can play for you. And then, so what happened is after the city, let me see if I can add that in here. After the city of Teotihuacan fell, many different tribes ended up coming. Well, they ended up splitting, and there was a lot of infighting going along. And so, in addition to the Toltecs, we also got tribes like, if I transition over here, you can see this is of the Purepeche nation. Here are some pyramids of the Purepeches here. And they were north over in Oaxaca. Hello, Mama Four Boys. Thank you for coming into the chat today. We're talking about the legend of Quetzalcoatl here. Oh, no problem, Morocco. Please drive safely. We don't want any accidents here. We definitely want you to get to wherever you're going safely. I just appreciate you coming. I'll be keeping this live stream up, so if you want to watch this later, you're more than welcome to. So this picture that I'm showing right here is of the Purepeche nation, and they were in Michoacan. So other things that I found interesting of the Toltecs was you see different elements in their pyramids that are similar to other pyramids in the area. And this is because all the tribes there were all interconnected. I'm doing well, Mama Four Boys. Luckily, I lost my voice like 3 days ago, and luckily it's come back, so that's good. But if my voice is a little bit off today, it's it's because of that, but I'm getting over it, so it should be fine. Thank you. Hopefully the topic is useful and interesting. I hope it is. We'll see how it goes. Um, I don't know if this is gonna work. Nope, it came up backwards. I'm just noticing that some of my pictures that I have up are upside down today. So that's the topic for today is the pre-Hispanic culture. And I just wanted to see if anybody had any questions about pre-Hispanic culture or about the video that I premiered on Saturday. Or if we want to just talk about something else, we can do that too. I'll be here for at least a half an hour. We'll see how it goes. I'm new to the live streaming here, so I'm just trying to learn how it goes, see what the topics are. I do have a guest for next week, so that's going to be interesting. Hey, I see my friend Sarah out there. I'm happy to see my flock is everywhere. She is a very nice lady. One of the things I know about Sarah is I've known Sarah since before YouTube, so it's always fun to see her on YouTube. But I have to say, my flock, you are definitely everywhere out there. I see you everywhere on everybody's channel. I think it's great, all the support that you give other channels. She is. She's everywhere. um, so, so for the research for the book that I did, I used this book called Toltecs Quetzalcoatl, which was written by H.B. Nicholson. H.B. Nicholson is a doctor of archaeology and pre-Hispanic studies at the University of California of Los Angeles. And the book, to me, it's a little bit of a dry read book. Definitely what I would call a book written by, yes, you were a junior in high school, but that's all good. That's how long I've known you. So the book is written by H.B. Nicholson, who's a professor of archaeology. And I have to admit that the book is a little bit dry because when professors write, it's very serious tone. It's very factual. The book is what they call peer-reviewed. So you see a lot of comments in there of people, other professors critiquing or commenting on the work of Professor Nicholson in his book. Hey, Mr. Ludo, how's it going? Good to see you today. I'm surprised Mr. Ludo hasn't done a Roblox story about pre-Hispanics. Is that even an option in Roblox? Like, can you do like a pyramid of Roblox? That would be kind of cool if you could. But it's good to see you on the stream today. Again, we're talking about Toltecs and Quetzalcoatl. So, in this book, hey, it's Sea Leg Journeys. How's it going? Nice to see you in the live stream today. Good to see you. Sea Leg Journeys is a great channel to go check out. They stream pretty much every morning. I don't know what time it is in their zone when they stream, but they come on at it's like 6 a.m. Pacific time, and they talk about cruising stories. They're very entertaining, both of them, and I enjoy catching some of their live streams. And so I appreciate you coming to my live stream to check it out and talk about some traveling stories that I have here. So as I was saying in this book, 8 a.m. Eastern, is that Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday? Although, didn't I see you yesterday live streaming? I thought I saw you yesterday live streaming, but I definitely see you Monday through Friday. You're always there. And I thought I saw an extra one yesterday on Saturday, but maybe I was wrong. I don't remember. But thanks again for coming in. I will definitely be checking out their stream, and you should too. Oh, let me see if I can do that. I got to figure out how to do that, Sarah. I will be more than happy to put a moderator in this channel. So let me see if I can figure out how to do this. Like I said, new to this live streaming software, so I'm not 100% how to use everything yet. Um, I'm just putting in this topic right here so that I can learn how to use the software. And here, I think I gave you a wrench. So if that helps you out and you can help me out, Sarah, that would be great. Um, like I said, I am still trying to learn the software. I'm actually using a software called EveMukes. Um, on EveMukes is a competitor to Livestream. What I like about it is that um, you can put in different slideshows and that you can share different media. Now, I haven't like used it all, but I'm still learning how it works. Hey, Lifestyles Growing, thank you for coming in the live stream. Although I think I should say meow meow, right? If Lifestyle Guaran's coming in, I need to say meow meow because that's what she would say to me if I came into her live stream. So meow meow live stream Guaran. Thank you for coming into the live stream today. Enjoy having you here. And it looks like my flock is putting out the links. So I appreciate that, Sarah, for helping me out. I desperately needed a moderator in this channel, so I appreciate it. Yes, meow meow is your trademark greeting for sure. So, getting back to the subject of Toltecs and Quetzalcoatl. So, in the pre-Hispanic culture, there was the god of. Oh, thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, if anybody wants to share this out to their live stream, great. If anybody has a link that they want to share to their channel, I'm more than happy to share out to their channel as well. I tried StreamYard, Sarah, but it just didn't work really well for me. Um, but I see a lot of people using it, but I think I like this style on EveMukes a little bit better. I mean, I think there's a learning curve on both types of software, but you just have to learn how it goes. So, yeah, the, it's just all about learning how it goes. This is like the second live stream that I've done. And so I'm just trying to learn how it works and how it goes out. Yeah, lifestyle Gorian. The majority of the people use StreamYard, I think. I think StreamYard is probably the most popular software out there. Um, but I just wanted to try something different. I wanted to try a different type of streaming software out there, so I decided to use this one. Hello, Mr. Chef, Mr. Chef Hamaz from Lebanon, right? Which I still want to go out there and visit Lebanon. So if I ever go out there, I'm gonna go visit Mr. Chef, and he's gonna have the best recipes. Um, so yeah. Now, are you on the paid version, Sarah, or are you on the free version? Yep, Mr. Chef is from Lebanon, and he has some good recipes on his channel. So I always enjoy checking out his channel. So, yeah, we're talking about the legend of Quetzalcoatl, which is part of the Toltecs. You can drop any of the links that you want to on this channel. I'm all about sharing other people's channels. So whatever, if you can find some links to other people's channels, all the people in this channel, I have been to their channels before, and they've all helped me before. And it's just very interesting to see who's tuning into um, this live stream because all the people that are on this stream right now come from very different backgrounds. I have people that are travelers. I have people that are doing cooking. I have people doing Roboblocks. I know my flock does about like space and stuff. So yeah, there's just all sorts of different friends that I have on this live stream today. So it's fascinating to see who's on the live stream, and thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate you tuning in with me to talk about pre-Hispanic culture. And and basically the format that I'm going to do for this channel is every week we'll have a different topic. Yeah, it's definitely an electric group. Um, like I think other channels are very focused, and I guess when you're traveling, you just end up traveling and you just learn. That's one of the best things about traveling is when you travel, you meet so many different people. Whether it's on a cruise boat that has thousands of people and you're all traveling at one time, or if you're traveling down a windy road in Europe, you're just going to find so many people traveling. And I think that's probably, I'm changing the topic a little bit here, but if we want to talk about why I like to travel, I think it's the people. That's the best part about traveling is when you get to travel, you meet so many people. And I just love that. I love meeting and finding out what other people do because people are just interesting. I think people are just interesting and they each have a story. Um, Next week, I'm going to have a guest on. His name is Mike with the Mike Story, and we're going to be talking to him from London. He actually agreed to stay up really late. Hello, Mr. Big Box. Thank you for joining the stream. Appreciate you coming in. Again, it's nice to see lots of people here today joining in the stream as we talk about the Toltecs and the legend of Quetzalcoatl. And I think the topic has turned a little bit to travel and why travel is important. So, getting back to the topic again of Quetzalcoatl. So, according to Professor Nicholson, there was two things to consider when they talked about Quetzalcoatl. There was Quetzalcoatl the god, and then there was Quetzalcoatl the king. And I think the legend of Quetzalcoatl got mixed between the two. I think Quetzalcoatl did start out as a king in Tula. He started out there as a king, and he was so popular that I think he got mixed up a little bit in the legend that was Quetzalcoatl. So in this image here, what we're seeing is Quetzalcoatl. He has an interesting story. He was a king around the year 200 after Christ. Okay. Nice to know that you're Sarah's cousin. Nice to see you, Sarah's cousin. And so this image is of Topiltzin Quetzalcoatl. And in this image, we're seeing him doing what is called ritual bloodletting. It was kind of a way that they would hype themselves up. They believed that blood was very important in pre-Hispanic times. Blood was considered the life source, where we consider maybe the heart. Nice to see you, Andrew. Okay, well that helps me out a little bit. So blood was considered a life source for the pre-Hispanics. Much like we consider the heart, we always say people have a lot of heart, meaning they have a lot of courage. Well, for the pre-Hispanics, it was all about blood. Blood was the life source that maintained everything. And excuse me for coughing there. And so the pre-Hispanics believed that the gods needed blood in order to keep the world moving. That if they did not constantly sacrifice blood, the world would somehow stop turning, and that would be a disaster for them. Now, what was interesting is when the god Quetzalcoatl came, he actually told them that they no longer needed to give a blood sacrifice. So that was kind of interesting. So Quetzalcoatl came on the scene and he united them. And if you're wondering why he's called Quetzalcoatl, you can see here on the top on his headdress there, he has those green feathers. Those green feathers are what are called Quetzal feathers. And Quetzal is actually a bird. That bird is native to the Guatemala region. It's a beautiful bird that has these really long green feathers. And it's very interesting to me that the color green in pre-Hispanic terms was more valuable than jade. Um, well, jade, green was jade. They had jade. What I meant to say is that jade and the color green was more valuable than gold. They did value gold. Gold was important to all pre Hispanic cultures, but it was more valued than, say, but it wasn't as valued as, say, jade. Jade and the color green was considered more valuable in the pre Hispanic times than gold and the color yellow. So when you saw a king, for example, King Moctezuma, which was the last emperor, well, the last emperor of the Aztecs was Cuauhtemoc, but the last emperor of that was of the empire of the Aztecs was Moctezuma. And so, yeah, that's what he was doing was he was showing how regal he was by using Quetzal feathers. So those that's kind of the legend of Quetzalcoatl. Like I said, he came around the year zero, left around the year 60, said he was going to come back, never did come back to his people. The Toltecs, as far as the nation of the Toltecs, the city was actually abandoned by the Toltecs. There's evidence that war came to the Toltecs. There was a lot of tribes fighting for dominance in the region, and I think what happened is they probably ended up fighting with what was known as the Mexica tribe and probably lost because it was abandoned out. Um, Quetzalcoatl had already left, and then after he had left and said he was going to come back, he never came back. And so it's just an interesting place. It was an abandoned village. Um, when the Aztecs were conquered in the year 1520, 1521, well, actually, by the year 1521, they were completely conquered. The knowledge of the Toltecs went away. Yeah, they're an easy day trip from Mexico City if you want to go see these ruins. Um, they're fabulous and they're well preserved. What's crazy about these pyramids is everybody in Mexico knows about them, but there's not many tours. Like everybody that does tours, they talk about the Mayans, which the Mayans, I don't know. Sea Lake Journeys might recognize this photo that I'm putting up here. This is a photo of Chichen Itza, another site that appeared. They were Mayans. Now the Mayans were around the same time that the Toltecs were. And this pyramid is called the Temple of Kukulkan. And what's interesting about the pyramid of Kukulkan, this is down in the Yucatan Peninsula. So if you're ever on a trip down to Cancun, Cozumel, Playa del Carmen, you can easily go to this site. And so, yeah, if you've ever been down to the the Mexican coast, inside coast, like the Mexican Yucatan Peninsula, you've probably been on a trip to see this pyramid. This is the Pyramid of Kukulkan. And what's cool about this pyramid is if you look at this pyramid, um, it's got a step design to it. And then at the very bottom of this pyramid is a huge snake. And what happens is every year, I believe it's twice a year. I believe it's January 21st, and then I believe it's April 21st. the shadow lines up and it creates a big shadow of a snake on the pyramid. So this pyramid was actually, well, the name of this pyramid is Kukulkan, but Kukulkan is another name for Quetzalcoatl. So that's that when you see this pyramid, you're talking about the same as this guy here, which is Quetzalcoatl. This image right here that I'm showing right here is actually the Tlaxcalan nation, um, which was the Tlaxcalans were around the same time that the Aztecs were around. Um, but the Tlaxcalans came after the Toltecs. So to give you a timeline, there was the Toltecs, and then the Toltecs had what I believe was civil war, and so they fought among themselves, and then they broke up into smaller tribes. One of those tribes was the Aztecs, and then another tribe was called the Tlaxcalans. And the Tlaxcalans, um, I know some of these names sound weird, but they actually allied themselves with Spain, and so they were actually never conquered. They were the only nation, not Native American nation in the Americas, not to be conquered, was the Tlaxcalan tribe. And there is still a state of Tlaxcala today. And that's the thing. Everybody says, oh, the pre Hispanics, the ancient ones, they disappeared, but they didn't really disappear. They just modernized themselves. So like the Tlaxcalans, you can go to the city of Tlaxcala today. Thank you so much for dropping those links out. I really appreciate that, Sarah. That is very helpful. I appreciate that a lot. Appreciate you for being a moderator on this channel for my first real live stream here. So if you ever want to come back, I'm going to be doing these live streams on Sunday afternoon, 1 p.m. Pacific time. I believe it is like 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right now. And so that's my plan is we'll see how well I do. I'm going to be doing these live streams every Sunday, and anybody who wants to drop in and say hello, you're more than welcome to drop in and say hello. You're more than welcome to network. Um, I just think it's great when my friends meet other friends and so forth. I'm not into like a sub for sub thing. I don't want to get into that. But I do think it's interesting to learn about so many different topics out there. Um, so yeah, that'd be great, Sarah. If you want to come here on Sundays afternoon and help and learn about different travel topics, it'll be great. Like I said, next Sunday, I'm going to have a guest from London, England, in the house. His name's Mike, and yeah, it'll be 9 o'clock in London. But he said he'll stay up for me to be on my show, so I'm really excited about having a guest next week on the show. And if anybody ever wants to be on this show, let me know. I'd love to have you as a guest on the show. Yeah, I think history is very fascinating. Yeah, history is amazing, and it allows me to travel even when I'm not traveling, so to speak. So, yeah, you learn so many things. And it gives you better context, I think. When you know the history of a place, you are able to more fully appreciate the place that you're traveling to. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but when I travel, I'm always like, my mouth is always like, ah, because there's always so many cool things to see. Um, but it's different when you have a little bit of an insight, when you know the history of a place, it really comes alive for you, especially when it comes to ancient archaeology, which is a topic that I enjoy a lot. Um, I do have a playlist out there if anybody's interested. If you go to my channel, you can look for different playlists. And one of the playlists that I have on there is called Ancient Sites. I should look for that. Let's see if I can find that on my channel. But I do have a playlist on there, and it's called Ancient Sites. And yeah, if you want to study about, see all the different, oh, it's called Ancient Structures. I'm going to see if I can share that out to the chat. out here. Let's see. Again, I'm still learning how to do these links, but if I go here and I click that, did that share it out? Hopefully that did. Let's see. Maybe Sarah can give me some feedback. Did that work, Sarah? I'm still learning how to do links on this software. I think what I need to do is, if you're going to come back, Sarah, I'll put you in the background here. Oh, nope, there's the link. There's the link of all the different ancient sites. And when I talk about ancient sites, it's not just about the sites in Americas. I love checking out the ancient sites. I've been to several ancient sites in Italy, Turkey, Spain. History is everywhere, and you learn so many interesting things through history because ultimately these people were these were people. These were regular people that came in. I don't know. Some people think that maybe this was done by aliens. It could have been. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Some people look at an image like this and they're like, "Oh, excuse me, my throat is a little bit sore today. I lost my voice 3 days ago, and I was like totally prepping for this first ever live stream. I was so excited to do it, and then about 3 days ago, my voice went out. I was like, "Oh, well, this is gonna be interesting if my voice goes out and I'm doing my first ever live stream." But so far, it's working. So we're learning, we're growing, we're learning about different ancient sites, and on this channel, I think it'll be a lot about different topics. It won't always be about archaeology on this channel. One of the topics that I want to get into with my friend Mike next week will be about traveling and positivity and how to maintain a positive attitude when you're traveling, because I think sometimes that can be difficult to do because we do experience hardships sometimes when we're traveling. Um, I always enjoy the hardships afterwards, but I never enjoyed the hardships when they're happening. So you never know how it's gonna go. Um, but I'm glad that the link worked. If you're interested in looking in ancient structures, it's there. Um, looks like we have 4 in the chat. Does anybody have any questions about pre-Hispanic archaeology? I would be happy to answer those questions if you have any questions. If not, we can wrap up early. That's fine too. But I do appreciate everybody coming in. That's great that you were able to come in. I really appreciate Sarah for coming in and helping me out with the links today and being my moderator for on this first ever. You can say that you were a pioneer today, Sarah. Thank you for being a pioneer modder. I really appreciate the support. And even though I'm not really good at moderating, if you ever need me to moderate on your channel or just be on your channel, Sarah, just let me know. You say that you do live streams, but I never see your live streams, so I never know when they are. So that's always interesting to me. So the topic for today is Quetzalcoatl, who was the legend of the pre-Hispanic archaeology. And yeah, sorry, I'm just a funny guy. I'm offering you help, Sarah, that I can't even do myself. So if I could be a good moderator, I would totally be a good moderator. But you just can't do everything. You just try. I'm not as cool as you are. Unlike my flock is everywhere, I am not everywhere. I can get the link to work, and that's pretty good. If I can get the link working, I'm a happy camper. And again, we're talking about Quetzalcoatl, the legendary mystery of the pre-Hispanics. It says here, once at a Mayan ruin, I asked the guide where the Mayans were today, and he says, "Yeah, yeah, they're standing right next to you." Yeah, if you look at them, they're they're everywhere. The Mayans are everywhere. It's actually interesting. I did my genealogy, and I found out that on my father's side, my last name is Pedroza, which you'd think Pedroza is a Spanish last name, but actually I have 15 generations from me, I have Aztec blood. So I can legitimately say that Moctezuma, the last Aztec emperor, was my great 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 times 15 grandfather. So that is cool. I always thought like my family just came from Spanish heritage, because if you looked at me, you wouldn't think that I'm Mexican, but I'm actually a dual citizen. Um, yeah, on my father's side, I'm Mexican, and then on my mother's side, I'm from the United States. My mother lives in California. My dad lives in Mexico City. He's actually a tour guide in Mexico City. So if you're ever interested in going down, you can look up. If you look up Pedroza tour guide, you're gonna probably end up with my father down in Mexico City. So, thank you for the compliment, Sea Lake Journeys. Um, I know you two have been on the other side of the screen before, so you know how this works probably a lot more. It's very interesting making a comment from typing it in versus being live. You got to keep the conversation going, and it's interesting because you don't know what your audience is looking into, so you're trying to see that. I am actually going to take you up on your offer, Sarah. I will definitely send you a message after the show. We'll wrap up this show in about 15 minutes, and yeah, if you want to help me out on the channel, I would love to have you on this channel. I think you would have some great influence on this channel and can definitely make it better. And then if anybody has some constructive criticism on how to make this channel better, please, by all means. I like to be positive. I don't like trolls. Nobody likes trolls. But I always appreciate when people are out there and they're positive. The best live streams, the best channels that I've ever seen are always positive. And some of that works when you're positive. I think that works for the audience. And I don't think that sharing feedback is not being positive. Some people are afraid to like say, "Oh, you should fix this or that," because they're worried that that's not going to be perceived as a positive comment. But I actually think that can be quite helpful. And so, if there's any ideas on what you would like to see in this show, I want to keep things travel related. Um, but if you have an idea, please, by all means, like let me know. I want to hear your input on the subject, and I want to learn from everybody else. I learn so much from your channels, um, even if it's just how to laugh. Sometimes you just need a good laugh, and that's why you go to a certain channel. Um, I just saw Mr. Ludu's comment, so that's what it thought about. Like when I go to your channel, Mr. Ludu, I just laugh because it's just the stuff that you do on that channel is just wacky. You have a very wacky channel, but I love it. It's all good. Um, so yeah, we're talking about Quetzalcoatl and the legend of the pre-Hispanics. And going back to Sea Lake Journey's comment is, yeah, the Mayans are still there. One of the more interesting experiences that I do, you can giggle all the time, any day, anywhere. You go right ahead. Sarah, you laugh anytime you want. Thank you so much. Yeah, you got to be true to yourself first. The content is second. I've actually been on YouTube for a long time now. I've been on YouTube for like 13 years, but I can't say that I've ever taken it really serious. And that's probably why my subscriptions are so low, even though I've been on YouTube. When I first got onto YouTube, I was just doing it so that I could have a shareable link to my family. I was sharing videos of my family and different trips that I was doing. And the funny thing about that was my family did not watch the videos that I shared with them. Like, if you want to bore your family, just go to the next family gathering and tell them that you want to talk about your travels. It'll probably bore them. But what was funny is on YouTube is I started getting comments from complete strangers. And then those people were interested in the content in the channel. And so I've actually gotten quite a lot of views from just strangers, and not a lot of family members come to the channel. In fact, Sarah's from My Flock Everywhere is here, and I actually know Sarah from a long time, but I only recently saw My Flock is Everywhere on YouTube. I don't know how long you've been on YouTube, My Flock is Everywhere, but I think I've only seen you online for like the last year, which is kind of funny because I've known you since the 1990s. So, um, so it's kind of funny. It's also funny when like you meet somebody in YouTube that you know in real life. So that's always a fun time to have that happen. So yeah, you just have to grow and learn. And 16 years. You've been here for 16 years now? Where have you been? You weren't in my channel for 16 years. I've only seen you on the channel for like a year. You must have been hiding out on me or something over there. You just knew where all the good channels were. That's why your channel grows and mine's like stuck in the nowhere zone. But that's okay. 16 years on YouTube. Wow, that's a long time on YouTube. Um, we'll have to check out more of your videos there, Sarah. I didn't realize that you had been on YouTube for that long. That is crazy. 16 years. Wow. Congratulations for sticking with YouTube for that long. And anyways, yeah, so you just have to make the content that's enjoyable. So my whole thing on this is just to do travel content and to learn about more travel. I hope as I get to talk to more guests and go to different channels, I can learn about different aspects of traveling. Um, one of the things that I've been doing next week, we will be casting out to London, England, which that's going to be a fun show. But then the week after that, if I can get the internet for it, which I hope I can, I hope to be broadcasting live from the Carnival Radiance. And so that show is going to be about cruising. So if you're interested in cruising, make sure that you're here 3 weeks from now and we'll talk about Carnival Radiance and we'll talk about cruising out of Long Beach, California, because I'll actually, at that point, I'll be in Ensenada, Mexico. I think if I broadcast out of Ensenada, Mexico, I'll have the best internet. Sometimes if you try to use the internet while you're at sea, that doesn't work out so well. But some ships are doing better these days on that. Um, yeah, if I was everywhere, I would stumble too. So I don't blame you, Sarah. Just when you stumble, you just got to get back up. At least that's what the Rocky movie showed me. Yes, if anybody loves cruising, it would be Sea Lake Journeys. They definitely love cruising. They are, and you two have such an enthusiasm for it. Um, I was watching your show last week, and you were talking about, I think it was the Mardi Gras. I don't know. I signed up for the Facebook channel. I'm gonna look into that cruise that you're doing in May. I think it is. Yeah, you just kind of stumbled into my channel. And why you even stumbled into my channel, I don't know, because our topics don't usually cross, but it's all good. Oh, you know what? I remember where I saw you, Sarah. I saw you first in First Floor Audio's channel. That's where I saw you. First Floor Audio with Lee. That's a really cool channel. He's a piano channel. And that's where I saw you. I saw you in that channel. But I do know Sarah from before YouTube, so I can say I know Sarah from back in the day. We are Trek. We're both into Star Trek. Um, her brother is Glenn, and I used to hang out with their family all the time down in the Inland Empire, and we'd watch Star Trek together. So that was fun times. I remember hanging out with the your family a lot. That was awesome. Yeah. So yeah, that's what this is all about. Is yeah, I've joined the group. I have joined the group on Facebook. Now I have to convince the boss, aka wife, um, about that group. If you want to, let's see. Yeah, so in 3 weeks I'll be talking about cruising, and I will actually on that one I will promote out that Facebook group if that's okay. I'll promote out that Facebook group in 3 weeks, and we can talk about cruising and how maybe to join a group cruise, which is an interesting concept. Yes, um, yes, you were at the wedding. That's true. You were at the wedding with your mom. I remember that, and thank you for coming. Yeah, Yeah, Sarah was there at my wedding. I remember that. Wow, that's been such a long time ago. That was like 2002. Wow. Um wow. Good times. Remembering we're going way back. Not only we're talking about ancient pre-Hispanic history on this channel, we're talking about ancient PedrozaTravel history on this channel. That's what we're doing now. That's what we're talking about. So, so for those who don't know me that well and that are still in this, um, so another fact about me is I I am married. I have a wonderful wife. And maybe if I'm lucky, I'll get my wonderful wife on this show. I don't know. She's kind of camera shy. She's not in a lot of my videos, but sometimes she's there. Um, her name's Denise, and then I have a wonderful son, and my son's 15 years old. Um, Kind of crazy to think that my son is 15 years old, and and I doubt you'll see him in too many of the videos. Although he was the cover thumbnail for the latest. If you watch the Ms. Maloya video, he was on that video. He was on the Ms. Maloya talking about Puerto Vallarta. So he was hanging out on the boat. So yeah, so that what concert are you talking about? I don't know what concert you're talking. Are you talking about the Elton John concert that I went to? Is that what you're talking about, Sarah? I don't know. Um, in addition to traveling, I do like to go to concerts. I recently was very fortunate to go to Elton John's last concert in November. Well, it wasn't Elton John's last concert for forever, but it was his last concert here in the United States. He had his last concert in Dodger Stadium, and that was amazing. If you want to look at that video, it is on my channel. Just look for Elton John on my channel, and you'll see a little video about when I went to Elton John's last concert in the United States. Um, and then I'm going to a concert in March. I'm going to a Billy Joel concert. Billy Joel is going to be playing in Los Angeles. The Cher concert. What Cher concert? I've never been to a Cher concert. I don't know what you're talking about now, Sarah. I've never been to a Cher concert. Although, if you have tickets to a Cher concert, I'd be interested in going to a Cher concert. Are you inviting me to a Cher concert? Because that would be awesome. I would love to go to a Cher concert. I think Cher is amazing. As far as I know, though, she's not on tour right now. Who is on tour is Billy Joel. Billy Joel is going to be on tour starting in March. He's going to start his a new tour concert in March in Los Angeles, and he's going to be playing with Stevie Nicks. And so I'm going to go see that concert in March. So if you're interested in that, you can look that up. So that'll be another interesting travel video as I go meet with Billy Joel and Stevie Nicks out at, I think that's going to be at the Los Angeles Coliseum, is where I'm going to go see that concert. So that will be really good. So, looking at the chat here, is there any other questions that you might have about pre-Hispanic? Thank you so much, everybody, for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. I appreciate the comments. Yes, it's going to be an amazing concert. I actually saw Billy Joel in person back in the 80s. It was the late 80s. And he did what was called the Stormfront concert. I don't know if you remember the song. We didn't start the fire. It was always burning since the world was turning. I saw that concert live in Mexico City. It was an amazing concert. And so I'm excited. I'm excited that I get to go see him in March with Stevie Nicks. I mean, two iconic um, artists from the 70s. Yeah. But I heard that Billy Joel has an ongoing residency right now in New York. Like, he pretty much plays every week in New York. But Stevie Nicks is somebody who, she hasn't played a long time. So, oh, thank you for sharing the Elton John video. Yeah, that's the Elton John video if you're interested in checking that out. What was amazing about Elton John is that even though he's in his 60s, his voice is amazing. His voice is still crystal clear after all these years and after all the crazy things. And I do believe he did a lot of drugs because some of the videos that he showed during his concert were pretty crazy. But after all those years, Elton John is still amazingly fit and he still plays wonderfully. The concert was amazing. And then at the end of the concert, he came with his sequined LA Dodger uniform, which I thought was amazing. So that was amazing concert, and if you want to go see it, there's a link. Thank you so much, Sarah, for sharing that out. Yeah, it was an amazing concert. Yeah, but if you ever want to go to a concert, Sarah, let me know. Next concert that I'm going to, you're more than welcome to come with me. Come out with hang out with the Pedrosas and go to a concert with us. Um, we're always traveling somewhere, so and for you, it's pretty easy because you're in California too. So, oh, I did not know that. So you're saying that you went to my wedding instead of Cher's concert? Wow, I did not know that. That's something I just learned. Thank you so much. I did not realize that you gave up going to a Cher concert to come to my wedding. That is an amazing story. Things you learn 20 years later. Wow, okay. I don't know. No, I would have come to your wedding too. No, I would have come to your wedding over a Cher concert too. That's great. Thank you so much. I did not realize. But it was a good wedding. We had our wedding in Redlands. And then you guys were in the Bakersfield reception too, I remember. So you came to both receptions. So yeah, we had two receptions for my wedding that was like 20 years ago. And because we had family in two different places, and Sarah was my flock is everywhere was at both because hello, she's my flock is everywhere, and she is everywhere. But I did not know that you gave up a Cher concert to come. Yeah, well, thank you so much for coming, Sea Lake Journeys, and thank you everybody else for coming on the show. This is my plan is to have an hour long show. This will be an hour long show. It'll be from 1 to 2 every day, and I think we're gonna wrap this up according to my timer here. Um, According to my timer here, I have like 45 seconds to have an hour on this show. Thank you so much for coming to the show. We'll see you next time on the show for everybody that was here, and see you next time. Thank you.